What's going on, Em? How are you? Travis in the house. Wide World West is here. Jerron, good to see you. Just hanging out on a Friday night. Respectable Paper is in the house. Tony 513 is in the house. Minister of Time. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Eggs, good to see you. Good evening. Jane Irene, how are you? Garrett, good to see you. Toronto, return to logic. Good. I just decided to come on tonight for no reason. I'm waiting. I just woke up from a nap. I'm in Vegas right now, having a rendezvous with some guys, talking over some things. And it's gonna be a nice weekend. Nice weekend out here. Some guys that I never met before. Content creator dudes. So it's about 7:45 now. Who am I expecting in here tonight? Coach Greg Adams should be here. Hotep Jesus will be here, who I never met before. So I don't know. I think he's going to be arriving at about, I'm guessing at about 9 or 10. It is a great night for cigar and whiskey. No, I don't gamble. Never gamble. Never gamble. And I'm not into sports at all. Not even when I stopped playing sports, what, 45 years ago, whatever. I was no longer interested in sports. Hey, how's the audio? Can everybody hear me okay? PRS, what's going on? Brazil. Maintain control in a season of waiting. I don't know what you're waiting for. Paul the Piper, good to see you. No whiskey tonight, just ice cream. You know what? Boy, that sounds good right now. Audio is perfect. Thanks. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. I am broadcasting live from Las Vegas right now. Hey, Drew, what's going on? Behind me, well, all you can see is the reflection of the hotel room. But behind me is these magnificent mountains. Oh, my Lord. I have never been to Vegas before. Flown over Vegas many times. Never actually landed. Velasquez, Peekaboo, Bruno M, Patrick. No, I don't gamble at all. At all. It's freezing today in Vegas. Freezing. Holy cow. Couldn't believe how cold it was. I actually had to, when I got to the hotel room, I was either going to take a hot shower or take a nap. And I ended up taking a nap and just putting the covers on just to take the chill out. I was so cold when I got out of the airport and was waiting for the Uber ride. So, Liam, I'm going to warn you. I'm going to say it once. The name is George. This is a very nice room here. It is Paul the Piper. It's pretty high end. This is, I'm really impressed with this hotel. definitely. Oh, Pamela, yeah, yeah. A very good friend of mine, her best friend from high school is the mayor of Henderson, believe it or not. So yeah, interesting little story there. Small world. It's almost 8 o'clock, and you guys know I'm normally gearing up for bedtime right about now. St. Louis in the house. Um, I normally go to bed, but people aren't arriving until like 10 o'clock. So I took a little nap and got to hang out. So a little bit later. Pro- the only problem is I love getting up early. Australia in the house. All right. Way to go. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock here. Normally, and my butt is dragging. I got up last night, believe it or not, believe it or not. I mean, I went to bed early, as you know, I go to bed early. Uh, Seattle in the house. I went to bed at 7:30 and I got up at 1 o'clock. So what's that? 5.5 hours sleep. Slept a little bit on the plane. And then when I got here, I crashed just because I know could it could end up being a long night, going to be a long day tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm a little bit like a couple notches down energy wise right now. I'm all right. I'm good. New York is rolling out the passport. Yeah, they can roll it out all they want. If something's so good, why do they got to force people to have it? You know what I'm saying? Well, the sun went down behind me. There's this mountain ridge, and it looked beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm just like, here's the window right here, and the bed is a mess. Otherwise, I'd be sitting at the desk right now, but the bed is an absolute wreck from me taking a nap. Yeah, so much for HIPAA, right? It's all bullshit. I'm sorry, it's bullshit. I don't care what anyone says. It's bullshit. Kristen, how's it going? Good to see you. Niagara Falls. Awesome. Did I pack my chopsticks? No, but I block you. Chavli, how are you? Good to see you. Eric, what's going on, man? Don't know if you should say good morning or good evening. Holy Spirit, resound with the Sultan, magnify the truth. Oh, Keith, you just watched The Witch. What did you think? Tell me. Ian, quote, JLP, amazing. Indiana in the house. Oh no, are you kidding me? If I had coffee now, I wouldn't sleep at all. Anderson, South Carolina. 3 a.m. in London. Paul, what are you doing up at 3 a.m., dude? For real. Seriously. Well, you know what? It's Friday night. Losers are going to be losers. You know, losers. Yeah, put the hammer down, man. Put the hammer down. Moscow. Beautiful. It's nice. Yeah, Keith, you're right. Yeah. Eric, I'm in Vegas right now. It's 8 o'clock for me. I'm meeting up with some people. There's a rendezvous tonight here at the hotel with some people, content creators. Let me just think of some of the names that are coming in. Coach Greg Adams will be here. Hotep Jesus will be here. Phil Foster. Zach Small, also known as Hunter Drew. Return to Logic, doing your arbitrage. Awesome. I think Coach Greg is driving right now. I think he's 4 hours from here. Yeah. Drew says, took many an annual trip to Vegas for the CES. If you're looking for a nice old school Italian dining experience, check out Batista's Hole in the Wall. Yeah. I always like referrals. Peekaboo, come on live. There's a link. Check it out. Drew, you want to come on? Come on. I'm posting a link if anybody wants to come on. Ron Love. C&D Crooner. I never had Crooner, Ron. I do like their products, though. Kristen says, having a bit of rum in my weekend nightly coffee and I sleep well. Yeah, it's nice. I just woke up from a nap. Oh, you're reading Parnassus on Wheels, Jake. Awesome. It's one of my favorite stories. Wait till you get to Haunted Bookshop. All those characters show up in Haunted Bookshop. You're going to love it. The Deer Tongue. Yeah. Where did you get that from? Was that from Boswell's? Hey, listen, man, I posted a link. Click the link and come on. Come on live with me. So I'm not talking to myself. Ralstonian is with us. Good to see you, man. Man, you go back for a long, my God. You go way back, right? Kettlebell. Good to see you, man. Eric, I don't know. I was actually yesterday, believe it or not. All right, today's what? Friday. Yesterday I was looking at a Road King. Ron, you got it from Smoking Pipes. Okay, cool. What's something a woman can do to make a man feel like a man beside the most obvious? Respect him. Respect. Women want to be loved, men want to be respected. Yeah. Justin, good to have you here. Gabriel, good to see you. This is so random. I never go on Friday nights like this, and I'm usually sleeping by now. So this is cool. I'm actually waking up as I'm waking up as this stream progresses. So I slept for about an hour and a half. Yep. Drew, you're funny. Good night, man. Hey, Drew, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Hey, when people swing by even for a few minutes, that's cool. Ralstonian. Yeah, man. I know you go way back. That is so cool. That is so cool. I started writing the new edition of the newsletter, which is going to be good. That'll probably come out, I don't know, maybe Sunday night. Yeah. Will I still be getting up at 4? Probably not. Probably not. There's no way. I got to have 8 hours of sleep. If I don't get, let me put it this way: if I don't get 7 to 9 hours, I'm useless. So I'm really, yeah. Ozark Gaming says, "Who was the lady in the 3 reasons to use beard oil?" That was Chrissy. She was in a lot of my videos way back when. Ralstonian got a little bit inspired, right? That's awesome. That's cool. I didn't read Jordan Peterson's new book. No, I didn't. No. I'm not that interested in reading his new book, I'll be honest with you. I mean, the first book was great. How do we join the chat on Sunday night? We just need a YouTube channel and a log on. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Click the link. This is the next film for the director, The Witch. John Boston, hello. I'm not in PA. I am in Vegas right now. And I'm having a rendezvous with a bunch of content creators, other YouTubers. What is my favorite version of the Bible? Probably ESV, English Standard Version. The Northman is an upcoming historical thriller directed by Robert Eggers. Yeah, didn't he do The Lighthouse? Or did he do? Wait, give me the timeline of movies there. Beard oil coincidence. Ever cut hair for someone famous? I did. I did. When what's his face? Who's the director of Star Wars? This is how much I know. Is it Abrams? What's the guy's name? Is it J.J. Abrams or something? God, I cut his hair. That's probably, like, as far as like movies are concerned, who else's hair do I cut? Guy by the name of John Littner, vice president of sports programming for NBC Sports and chief operating officer for the NHL. Who else? Some rock and roll dudes. But a lot of the guys that are well known, I keep them private and confidential. So White Castle near Temple and eat at Penn's Landing, miss Philly. I don't miss Philly at all, but yeah, I understand. Daybreak Show, cool. Yeah, Orthodox Study Bible, it's good. No, it wasn't George Lucas. Yeah, it was Abrams, J.J. Abrams. I cut his hair back in, when was it? Maybe 2015, 2016, something like that. Jack Merkel, you must be the brother of Tony Merkel. What are my thoughts on CBD beard products? Yeah, you know, I don't have an opinion on them. I really don't. Kettlebell, working on getting unstuck. Focus, purpose, and stoicism. 2020 is great. 2021 will be legendary for those without fear. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, you are so correct about that. So correct. The future belongs to those who don't have fear. Everyone's living in fear. Actually, you know what's pretty cool about like the last year is that everyone's so scared, and like I have zero fear. So I feel like a freaking superhero compared to the average douchebag out there who's like afraid of a flu and has to go and get his vaccine. Come on, man. Put on your mask. So I operate independent of bullshit. So should you. I'm in Vegas. I'm not getting up at 4 o'clock. I'm not getting up at 4 o'clock. For me right now, it's 8 o'clock. And I got to wait up for some guys that are arriving. Yeah. Listen, if you want to join in the chat, click the link. Click it. And talk to me so I don't have to read these comments. They're flying. Is it okay that I recommend you a channel to check out should you ever get the time? Yes, Ozark. Yes, it is okay. Yeah. Fred, what's going on? Canada is never getting out of this thing now. Not at all. Canada, I don't want to put down Canadians, my fellow North Americans, but you know, so many Canadians live in fear. It's just amazing. Amazing. I drink 1 cup of coffee a day, sometimes 2. Yep. All right, guys. Hey,
What's up, George? How's it going, man? Just thought I'd give everybody a little eye candy on Friday night.
Yeah, man. Beard's looking good.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Using some oil. Never did it before.
Yeah.
I'm a beard amateur. You know, I was always clean shaven, but I figured no hair. Figured, grow the beard.
Speaking of no hair, we got Bob on there. Hey, Bob, how's it going, man? I think your mic is muted.
Oh, hey. Your mic. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, good.
All right.
Hey, how's it going, Bob?
Hey, big fan. Big fan of the show.
Bob, let me ask you a question. When do you shave your head or buzz it down with clippers?
Oh, that's a great question. I buzz it and then I shave it.
Okay. And how long you been doing that?
Oh, a couple of years now. I do it to save money. I don't, and also because of COVID. For a long time the barbers are closed down.
Yeah.
And then I had to go out of state. I had to cross state lines to get a haircut. And then I had to go through the whole song and dance to get a haircut.
Yeah.
And the people who cut my hair said that, well, first of all, they wanted to charge me. They wanted to overcharge me. They wanted to charge me $30 to buzz. They want to charge me $30 to buzz my hair. Just to buzz it down to a zero, they want to charge me $30. And I said,
forget that.
I said, I'm going to walk the other way, or maybe you can. I said, I'm desperate and I don't want to spend $30. I said, I guess I lied. And I said, I only have $20 in my pocket. And they did it anyway. And the guy was so scared that the health department was going to rush in and shut them down. He said, I had to cross over into Connecticut to get a haircut. And he said, we barely got permission from the health department to reopen. We had to argue with them for weeks and weeks. We had to beg and argue. And of course you couldn't threaten legal action. You had to beg for the
Yeah.
right to have a business. And so they opened up, and then a lot of what they were doing was, I mean, they took it very seriously. Everything was constantly cleaned, temperature checks. Everybody's wearing masks. Nobody, at no point could you take your mask off. But it was, and they told me they could not do beards. They strictly told me we cannot do beards because for you to get your beard done, you would have to get your mask off.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's really amazing. And then the Rhode Island shops opened up after that. I mean, this is 6 months into the whole thing, right? So the Rhode Island shops then opened up about 8 months in, and it's tough because a month later, this is a father and son that run this business, right? And a month later, they shut down in Rhode Island. They shut down. The health department came in and said, we're shutting you down. He said, why? Everybody's wearing masks. Well, I don't know what the problem is. And they said, well, we're just going to shut you down. So, I mean, I'm not in the business. I don't know what it's like right today. I mean, this was 6 months ago, I guess. But I don't know what it's like right now, but I don't even bother. So.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ready for this whole soundtrack to, you know, for them to dub it in German. You know.
Yeah.
And
you know,
have people...
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was just okay. I was just going to say that I know the guy that runs a barbershop in Rhode Island that got shut down, and it's a sad story because, you know, for a long time he didn't have custody of his son. He finally got custody of his son when his son was like 16. So he loves his son, always wanted custody of his son. He deserved custody of his son. And the state was always, well, you're a felon, you have a record. And even though he's not doing anything illegal, they just used his record. You know, his girlfriend used his record as an excuse to take his son away. Finally, the kid's 16 years old, goes to live with the dad. And the dad gives him a job at the barbershop. Okay. So now the kid's 16. He's got enough money to buy a car, rebuilding the relationship with his father. Everything's going great. They're able to pay their rent. They're able to basically start a family again in that sense. And, you know, they were shut down in the beginning of COVID, and then they reopened. Now they're catching up on their debts and their back rent and all this stuff. So they have rent in the shop and rent at home. So they're just barely catching up on their rent payments. And then when the Department of Health shut them down the second time, imagine, you know, he can't go to work with his son can't go to work, and he can't go to work all in the same day. The business that he built himself with his own money, he has to watch that go up in smoke. And how are you going to look at your son and tell him everything's going to be okay? How do you do that?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I feel bad. I feel so bad for the guy. There's nothing, and there's literally nothing you can do. It's just really depressing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. And you know what the worst part is?
What'd you say?
I'm saying hi to Ohm. The dude with glasses on and the headset. What's up, dude?
Hello.
How's it going, man? Where you live at?
I live in Thailand.
Thailand.
Yes.
Nice, man. Good. What time is it there?
It's about 10 a.m.
Oh, wow. Well, good morning to you.
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah, man. Good. Good. What'd you do today? Anything so far, or you just get up?
I just woke up about half an hour ago.
Okay. Your English is pretty good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. Who's the other guy on there? Who is that? That's Don. Hey, Don. What's going on, man?
Hi there. Doing great. Grateful to be here. Thank you.
Where do you live, Don?
I live in Illinois.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
In the country, it's real nice out here. I got to tell you that I've watched your videos for probably almost 3 years, not quite, maybe two years. You had about 50,000 subs when I caught wind of you, and I've been following you ever since. And I actually, recommended them to my superiors and some of my bosses, and I
And
felt
you didn't get fired?
no, I got promoted. I'm a,
Mhm.
yeah, but I think it's something to do with being real, as a man,
Yeah.
and kind of, just being willing to be goofy, being willing to be serious, being willing to be
Yep.
all that stuff that's really uncomfortable. And I got to tell you, I really love that. I love most of your messages, and some of them that I don't love. I've listened to multiple times, and they've kind of grown on me, and I've kind of seen the wisdom in it. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. You know what it is? I float things, and you know, some things fly, some things don't, and I propose ideas. Not everything that I talk about is a strong conviction, and sometimes I'm just floating ideas. Sometimes I'm just trolling. Sometimes I am purposely being provocative.
Well,
And
I got to tell you, sir. I'm sorry, George, but I got to tell you that I feel like 98% of what you've said has been potentially life changing. Really, really great, good, golden stuff. And I've had a tough time in trying to, explain. Hey, you got to check this out. But it's been fantastic, and you've really helped me. I really appreciate it.
it's great. I know the chopsticks are a hard thing. When when you when you refer someone to my channel and they're like, "What the hell is it with the chopsticks?" They're like, "Wait a minute, this is you watch this chopstick guy." And it's so funny because the chopsticks are so polarizing. Like when people get mad at me, they're like, "Shove your chopsticks up your ass." I'm like, "All right."
Whoa.
Well, when YouTube sends your alerts, I literally stop everything I'm doing to go watch. Like that's what I'm. Thank you.
That's great.
Hey, George, I got to tell you, you were right about this. This is the worst coffee in the world, brother. Trader
What, from
Joe's.
Aussie?
Trader Joe's. It sucks. It sucks. I had it already when you said it's terrible, and I hadn't opened it. I said, let me see. So I put it in the French press. Some of the worst coffee I ever had. That dark roast from Trader Joe's. My God, if I had taken a half a teaspoon and a gallon of water, it wouldn't have tasted so bad.
Yeah,
Instant
right.
coffee. It's just wow. Yeah.
Right.
So don't. Professional tip for you guys: don't buy Trader Joe's coffee.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Hey, I can give you a recommendation. There's a startup in Rhode Island that has some excellent coffee.
Talk to me, man.
I'm not.
What are they?
I don't own them or anything, but Dave's Coffee from Rhode Island.
Yeah,
And
Dave's Coffee.
Dave's
All right.
Coffee. Yeah, they're from Rhode Island. It was a little coffee shop, and then they started selling beans, and then it just exploded. They're in supermarkets now. They have distribution now. Really, and it's great coffee. It's fantastic coffee.
Do you guys remember the other night when I was live, when I did the open forum, there was this dude, Pete, that was on here? Pete sent me a bag of Dave's Coffee like a year ago, and I really liked it. It was good.
All right.
Yeah, no,
Thanks
it's
for the
great.
reco, man.
Maybe it's great here because it's fresh, because it's like they're roasting it and bagging it, and it ends up on the shelves, and it's only a couple weeks old when I'm getting it. So maybe it's because where I live, I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's great coffee. It's great.
it's cool. Carl,
Hey, what's going on, George?
where are you at?
I'm in Ohio right now. I'm back on leave from the military, and I'm just visiting some family.
Nice.
I've been.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless you, man. Thank you.
Sir.
I appreciate it, y'all. I do. I
All
really.
right.
But I've been watching you for years now. You've honestly taught me a lot. I love the big chopstick energy, and I introduced you to my friend over here, Ian.
Oh, what's up?
What's up, Ian?
All right.
And right here.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Yeah, man. Thanks for putting me on here. I just wanted to, I'm going to Pittsburgh in the morning. I guess before I head out to bed, I'd like to thank you for everything you put out there for everybody. It's excellent content, amazing advice.
It's my pleasure. I mean, if you can extract some nuggets of gold from it, then leverage it, you know?
More than
Just-
some.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than some.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you've helped me a lot over the years, George. Honestly, God, you've changed me as a man.
Here, you talk to him about it.
Hey, George, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I watch your videos obviously, and I get that you give men advice, and I appreciate that. And I'm wondering if you come from a MGTOW perspective, or is it more of like a Jordan Peterson, or who do you model yourself after yourself, or are you more of an individual?
I'll be honest with you. I had no idea what MGTOW was until about 3 years ago. And then I realized, hey, I'm kind of a MGTOW. Even when I get married, I'll be like the first married MGTOW, you know, on this planet. I don't think I model myself after anybody. I think I have a unique perspective. There's a lot of people I like. There's a lot of people I don't like as far as content creators. I speak a lot out of experience, my own personal experience. And I speak out of experience of working with men just for 40 years of just listening to their problems, listening about their divorces, their suicide attempts, their bank robbery attempts, their time in jail, their girlfriends, their wives, their families, everything. It's just, so after you do this for decades, you just kind of, you get your bearings a little bit, and I think my experience has shaped me more than any other people. I think let me put it this way: when you're older, like I said the other day, my most of my mentors are dead. You know, when you get to be in your 60s, all the people you respect have either died or they're dying. So you have to kind of go backwards and go younger, you know, to find people to teach you. And I'm a strong believer in lifelong education. When I was a hiring manager, I would see somebody who had, you know, they got a master's degree in 1989 or something. But I see nothing after that. And I go, oh, was 1989 when you stopped learning? I want to see continuing education. I want to see that you took courses. I want to see that whether they were for credit or you audited them or you on your own took courses. I want to know, if I hire you, that you are into learning. And my community consists of people that want to learn.
Right.
I have a guy who's 71 years old. 71 years old, one of my followers. I have a guy who's 80 years old. These two guys both said to me, "You're the father that I never had." I said, "What?" And I thought, how can that be? And that is a beautiful model for me, because I'm looking at dudes who are like 40 years old, 36 years old, guys that I respect, and I'm thinking, man, I can learn something from these guys. And I think that started when all my mentors started conking out and started leaving this earth. So, as I said the other night, Galileo said, "I never met a man so ignorant that I couldn't learn something from him." And I'm a firm believer in that everybody has something to teach you. Everybody does.
For sure.
Yeah.
If can I respond to that last bit?
Yeah.
You know, I think for the people that have good parents, you can learn from them. And I think the people that have bad parents, you can learn what not to do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, some people are a good example of what not to do, you know. That is a fact. That is
Even
a
better
fact.
for your kids too.
So true, man. That is so true. Hey, tonight I'm broadcasting live from Las Vegas, Nevada. I am having a rendezvous with, I don't know if there's some guys on YouTube that we're all meeting here for the weekend. And Coach Greg Adams, you guys know Coach Greg Adams?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He'll be here. He'll be here tonight. Hotep Jesus, Hotep Jesus. He'll be here tonight. Who else? This Better Bachelor guy. I never met him. You know him? Better Bachelor.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, but he'll be here. Hey, Peg Bell is on. How are you, Peg? Good to see you. Peg, join us. But yeah, so I flew in. I got up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and got some work done around the house. I didn't pack last night. I packed early this morning. My flight. Peekaboo, you know Joker? Yeah. So all these guys are coming here tonight to this hotel. So I'm staying up just to hang out for a little bit. Then I'm going to sleep, and then tomorrow we're putting our heads together and just doing some stuff. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to put the link there if anyone wants to join us. So my flight was at like 7 o'clock this morning.
George,
And,
Dalton, I just wanted to know if you had any thoughts that you might be willing to share with us about any observations or insights that you have about the hero's journey and how it pertains specifically to young men. If you have any, and if not.
Yeah. I really honestly think, number one, a prophet is never accepted in his hometown. So you have to leave your hometown, leave your family, you got to find yourself.
Right.
And your biggest skeptics, I said in this morning's video, Daybreak Show, your biggest skeptics are going to be those that are closest to you, your own family. But those are the ones that have the most effect on us. But if they only knew, if they encouraged us, we'd go a little bit further, but they do constructive criticism. And I'm telling you this for your own good. And the reality is, you have to find redemption on your own. So everybody I know has gone down in ashes at one point, and you have to rise up and come back, make a comeback somehow, some way. Everybody has shortcomings. Even the most competent people in the world have shortcomings. And when you make a comeback, you're reinventing yourself. You get a fresh start every single morning. Every morning. I call, like when the sun comes up, some people call it a sunrise. I call it an opportunity rise. Opportunity rises every single day. And one of the reasons why I get up while it's still dark is because I want to be up as the opportunity rises. And that has been absolutely transformative for me. So the hero's journey is every man has to find redemption somehow, some way. Even those that are public figures. I mean, when I look at people like Dr. Peterson, who I have tremendous sympathy for at this point. And I was chatting with his daughter, and I want to wait to have him on the channel. And I think what Jordan does is Jordan bleeds online, and it's sad. And some people say, "Oh, he's falling apart." I'm like, no, he's not falling apart. He's not. He might seem a little bit fragile right now, but he's building himself back up in real time, and we're watching it. And we watched his downfall. So his redemption is coming. And I know he's having a spiritual crisis right now. And it's even deeper than his the drug addiction issue. It's even deeper than that.
Hey,
So yeah.
Can I ask you something pertaining to Jordan Peterson and his whole downfall and his rise? Obviously, he's back and he's been through a lot. But there's a theory that I heard on the internet that he was signed to a management agency where a lot of celebrities are signed, and they get a cut of his book deal. So now he's under this big famous celebrity management company, and he really didn't, all those problems that he had with the drug addiction and the hospitalizations, that didn't happen until after he was signed. And it's really interesting that the people that signed him and took control of his life are the same people that started the Me Too movement through their celebrities that they control. So I don't know if there's if there's any truth to that, but it's a fact that he was signed to that talent agency, and that is the talent agency that started the Me Too movement. So it's half true, at least, in the very least. But if you want to take it to extreme levels, the whole thing might be engineered, and he might just be he might be a victim of something going on. So maybe you can talk on that.
That is a possibility. I believe his agency is called CA, if I'm not mistaken.
CCA
or CA or something like
CCA.
that. And, they represent a lot of people. I don't know, about 4 years ago, I guess it was in 2017. It was in 2017 that I'm just adding some people to the stream here. In 2017, I said that Jordan has like the best agent and publicist in the world because of like the book that he wrote and his lectures. He's packing out lecture halls and theaters. People were scalping $45 tickets in Philadelphia. They were scalping them for $2,000. $2,000. Imagine that. It's not like a Rolling Stones concert.
And he was blocked from speaking at some universities at the same time, so it goes both ways, right?
Yeah. So, but I said that back then, about 4 years ago, I said that Jordan Peterson, the best thing about Jordan Peterson is his choice of publicist. And I lost 5,000 followers in one day after saying that, because there were so many like little fanboys out there like, you insulted my Jordan. I said, I didn't insult Jordan. Jordan's a friend of mine. I didn't insult him. That's a joke that I have. So I kept saying, yeah, I want his publicist. They'd say, what do you think of Jordan Peterson? I'm like, I want his publicist. What's the matter? You don't think he's intellectual enough on his own? I'm like, I do, but you wouldn't know about him if it wasn't for his publicist. Hey, Peg, how are you?
Good. I was quite a surprise. I came out to the kitchen to get some milk and turned on my computer and went, holy cow, he's live again. Hello, Bob, Gabriel. Good evening.
Hello. Hi, Peg.
And Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
People seem to confuse the better mousetrap, which was never true. That whole build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door, never true. You need the marketers, you need the word to get out there somehow, some way. And Jordan Peterson he's very intellectual. He's an extremely intelligent man. He's a dynamic speaker. I love to watch him speak. He's expressive, and you need the content out there. That's why we have YouTube. We have, if you don't want to get your own publicist, there are channels there, and you have to be on them. Otherwise, nobody's going to know you. It's just an echo chamber. And I'm glad he's not in that echo chamber because he has important ideas. I don't always agree with him, but I love to listen to it. And if you tell me that I can't listen to somebody because their message is dangerous, that makes me want to listen to them more.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to see what they have to say.
Well, I used to say all the time, if Jordan is dangerous, my God, then we are in trouble. I don't think he's dangerous. I don't think so either. Not even a
He's
little
nowhere
bit.
near dangerous. Yeah.
No.
No, he's the
No.
farthest thing from dangerous. He's
Exactly.
harmless. I mean, he's a seems like a very sweet man.
It's funny how they try to make him. People try to say he's dangerous. I mean, it's like I can't. I would let the guy borrow my car if he needed to borrow my car. I would let him borrow my car. I don't even know the guy, but I would let him borrow my car.
Or he's alt-right or something like that. I'm like, what the heck?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They're so afraid that I think people are afraid of getting exposed because there's a lot of propaganda out there that he's kind of debunking. And once he starts to pull on that thread, the whole thing unravels. And so they're very desperate to silence him because he's exposing it. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just my crazy idea, but that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, over in Thailand, are you familiar with Jordan Peterson?
No.
No? Okay. Do you drink coffee?
I used to drink coffee, but my body couldn't hold much caffeine, so I stopped.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sometimes you got to take a break from coffee. You're right. You're right. What do you drink in the morning, When you get up in the morning, what do you make? Tea? What do you have?
Just plain water.
Water. Okay.
Yes, water.
Good for you. That's probably the best thing. The best thing for you is get up and have water. Peg, what'd you do today?
Just basically worked in the house. I had another windy night last night, so when I was working out in the yard the other day, I have a lot more sticks to pick up. I don't know if Pennsylvania got the winds that we did, but it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah,
So
we got it at about. Well, that's why I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep because of this wind and rain that came through. And it just happened. It was like someone flipped a switch. It's crazy.
Did it bother your flight at all?
No.
Okay, good. Good.
No.
Good. But just general house maintenance.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I rarely do. Go ahead.
Oh, I say this is Simon.
Hey, Simon.
He's my lap cat.
Is he a good boy?
He's such a lover boy. He was one of my rescues. Not long after my husband passed, the neighbors have cattle next door, and the wife is definitely allergic to cats. And so I get this knock on the door, and the two neighbor boys show up, well, we found this kitten, in the feed box next door, and Mom said you might like to have it, and I'm still dressed from work, and I said, sure, I'll take him, and so I'm wandering around with this cat in my arms, and about 5 minutes later, another knock on the door. We found another one. So anyway, this is Simon. I already had two cats, and unfortunately, one of my cats, my original cats, is quite the brute, and for some reason does not get along with him at all. So he's like forced to live at the front side of the house. And so when I'm sitting in the computer chair, it's like, oh, Mom. And plus, he's safe in my lap from the brute.
Yeah, right. I love cats. I love all animals, I'll tell you that. But definitely cats are pretty unique, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm not the crazy cat lady, but I am crazy about cats. And if you would ask a member of my family, they would call me the cat whisperer. On a side story, when I was little, we lived out in the country, and I remember walking down the country road, and this beautiful tiger cat popped out of the side of the road. So I thought, and there's no houses around. Well, I'm just going to take it home. Well, anyway, it come to pass that I guess maybe one of the neighbors saw me carrying this cat home, and that's how I met my future sister-in-law. We heard that you have our cat. It's like, well, it was came to me on the side of the road, but anyway, yeah, the cat whisperer.
Oh, that's great. Nothing wrong with that.
So you have 6?
There's 5 in the house and 4 outside.
Oh my! I've got one outside, Cinder.
I was rescuing everything. Raccoons, possums, squirrels, deer, foxes, and they all make their way to the back deck. Can't explain it, but they do. And I'm a sucker. All the hurt animals end up coming, to the back deck, and they know where they can get some loving,
Yeah, yes. I still haven't found the sign invisible to the human eye sign in my yard that says vacancy.
Yeah, right.
Or, come here if you want to get spayed and neutered and well taken care of. Come on.
Yeah. I know a vet that works for an organization. It's a kind of a nonprofit thing, and it's a kind of fix and release kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if the animal is too fragile to go back out on its own, then it will go to a sanctuary near me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I'm lucky my vet lives right across the street from me. And her office is about a quarter of a mile up the road. So
That's good.
not a problem there. Nice lady.
That's cool. Gabriel, do you have any pets?
I had a cat. That was a rescue as well. My sister was a property manager up in the Bronx, and she managed a huge complex, and they had to evict a lady who I think she had, if I'm not mistaken, 30 cats in her apartment.
Oh wow!
And
now that's a crazy cat lady, right?
My sister said the hair alone was an inch thick on the carpet. I mean, I don't know if that's an exaggeration or not, but
yeah.
The kitten that she brought me, it was a Christmas present to me because she knew I wanted a pet. And at that time, my dad was adamant that the only thing we could have was fish when I was growing up, So we had tropical fish, and then my sister got me the cat for Christmas, and everybody won the battle against Dad at that time, at least. But the thing was that, because I was just into adulthood and I started working a lot, it took a liking to Mom, so it wasn't even really my cat anymore,
Right.
Because my mom had retired. So, but yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful cat. We had it for 15 years.
Wow.
And Mom did the old school Italian thing with the cat. She fed it people food, and she took care of it. She did home remedies, like she had something in her eye, and she did home remedies to it, and maybe we went to the vet once to get her shots, and we never took her again, and she lived and she died peacefully, and yeah. So
wow, that's something.
Yeah, but I always wanted a dog. I want a dog, but I haven't. I live in an apartment here in New York, so
yeah,
I'm not sure. I can't get. I want a German Shepherd, but I can't do that to a German Shepherd. Having it in an apartment.
That might be
if anybody,
for an apartment.
Yeah, so if anybody has any advice on what kind of dog to get, I was thinking of like a Havana, maybe. They say they're small enough and they're friendly, but I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know.
So, yeah.
Oh,
do you have any pets?
We don't have any pets, but our neighbor have cats and dogs, and we also have bird as our neighbor. From morning to evening, they are chirping all day.
Yeah. I like your beard, man. It looks good.
Thank you.
We got 3 men with beards on tonight.
That's right. Because we rock. We rock. Seriously, sometimes when it's I saw your video where you say, you're gonna have that period where it's gonna look, no matter what you do, it's gonna look scruffy. You're gonna look kind of homeless.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten past it. Now I don't care what it looks like because I know it's in a transition period. So I'm gonna keep growing it. Whereas before I would shave it off and sort of start over again, thinking that maybe I did something wrong, or but I feel naked without it.
Yeah.
I feel like Kermit the Frog when they used to take off his collar. For some reason he was naked. Well, that's how I felt. Like if I shave, I gotta hide. And
Yeah.
I don't, So yeah, I'm going full blast with this.
Peg Bell, what do you think of beards on men?
I like them. I really do. I like clean shaven men too, but I like beards. I like mustaches. I like the combo, whether it's full beard and mustache or the beard and whatever, goatee, or somehow or another you separate them. I don't know what the term for the look is, but yes, I do. Whether it's whether they're long or whether they're just closely cropped, like something like Gabriel's. Just
cool. All right.
Yeah, I think it's very attractive, and especially when they're well kept and well shaped, and it's just I like it.
Yeah, that's the key. Well kept. That's kind of like that's the criteria right there. It's got to be well kept, or you do end up looking homeless. I mean, there's I know I can look like if I don't at least comb my beard, I do look a little bit crazy. So.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes there's value in letting people think you're crazy. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know at work, I'm fundamentally unemployable because sort of authority is not cool with me. But, at work, every once in a while in my jobs, I would go a little nuts on purpose just to let them know not to mess with me. And I thought there was some value in that, but maybe not. I kept my jobs. I never got fired. So, but I did get left alone. So
they keep their distance. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, one time I told a coworker, a dude that was really always messing with me for no reason. I just put him up against the wall. I said, I can kill you with my finger. Do you believe me? Yeah, I believe you. Okay. So, and then for some reason, it never bothered me again.
It's probably the first time that ever happened to him.
Yeah, he never expected it, which was the beauty of it. It was a total ambush, total ambush. It worked. And that was pretty young when I did that. So I said, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to physically touch anybody because that's not cool.
Yeah.
But, a little yelling, a little, I speak Spanish, so I go into my Ricky Ricardo mode sometimes. And it works,
That's good. What kind of work do you do, Gabe? I think you told us before, but I forget.
I've been all over the place. I was a trader on Wall Street for a while. I worked at the accounting department at Chase headquarters. I was a paralegal at Cravat, Swain and Moore, which is like a really conservative law firm. And then I kind of slummed it at Best Buy for a while and became a manager there. And then I went into property management because my sister had been bothering me for years to get into it. And so I got into it in Long Island, doing like the gated communities. And then I moved on here to New York to do some luxury condos and some low-income housing, some Mitchell Llamas. So I run the gamut, and actually I hated it. I was looking to quit, and then my dad died. So I was able to leave that job because I had to take care of mom. And you don't want to deal with any of the agencies here in New York. You just don't. The Department of Buildings, any of the bureaucracy here in New York City, even before COVID, was. I just want to get out of New York. Let me put it that way. I want to get out of New York ASAP. I'm thinking Colorado. I'm thinking North Carolina. There's no paradise left really in the world, is there? But there are better places than New York. New York is, it's dead. It's not like it used to be.
What's that song from the 60s? We got to get out of this place. I forget who did that. Do you remember that, Peg? Remember that song?
We got to
Yes,
get out of this place.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Is it like
Is there
the animals, the Yardbirds, or something? I don't know. Forget. If anyone knows the answer to that, tell me. And I don't even know if that's the name of the song, but the key line is "We got to get out of this place."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The only
Say
song I
hello
know by the
to,
Animals is how the Rising Sun, the House of the Rising Sun, which is a
right.
great song. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Texas Dom is with us tonight in the chat. Hey, Tex. Good to see you, man.
Well, I will say it's quiet and peaceful on the farm. When it comes time to one day when I move, I think I don't know, if I'll be able to tolerate condo or living right up next to somebody.
Well,
But,
I will say this, that this profession of property management has absolutely dissuaded me from ever living in a I don't know, co-ops are not really a thing outside of New York, are they? Co-ops. But condo living, I would rather live in a cardboard box. If I can't buy my own freestanding house outside of an HOA, I don't want to live in a co-op or a condo, because just inevitably people get power hungry, like any structure, like any people inevitably get the president of the board will think that they're dictator, and it just happens, and you're paying all this money for basically nothing, because inevitably money gets misappropriated. So that's my take on it.
I like to hang my clothes outside. I mean, I'm in the country. I mean, I don't hang my skivvies out there, but sheets, pillowcases, or jeans or whatever. And there's some ordinances and some housing communities. Oh, no clothesline. I mean, I get it, but it's just something that I do.
Yeah, woe to you if you want to use your house as you see fit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's Peekaboo.
Hey, we got some people joining us here.
George,
Peekaboo, how are you?
I'll sign off so you can bring more people on.
No, this is good. This is good.
Okay.
Peg, we
Peekaboo,
need you.
say hello.
Hola, ladies and gentlemen.
Who just said hello? Oh, that was John. Okay, we have Austin with us, and Peekaboo is with us. Yeah.
Hello,
and
Bruno.
Pete, how are you, sir?
Hello.
Doing
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Where are you from, Pete?
I'm in Saskatchewan, Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
what
just
did you do today?
Oh, I worked and I'm on vacation for the next week. But I was just going to say I ordered some of that Grondike soap. And I just got it in the mail today, so I haven't tried it yet.
Nice. You're going to like it. You'll see. It's great stuff. I use it every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you talking about it a few times. I just started following you on YouTube a couple weeks ago, so.
Oh, good. Excellent. Excellent. Peekaboo, what'd you do today?
Basically assembled a bistro set for the patio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, that's impossible for some people. So
It was fun. I wanted one for so long, so it was good.
yeah.
Right.
Nice. Excellent.
So you're in my most favorite place in the whole world.
Really? Why is that?
Oh, yeah. I lived in Henderson for a couple of years. I wouldn't have left the area except for a family emergency, so I had to return to Washington. But I loved it down there. Oh, I loved it. You'll love the morning. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
the landscape is beautiful. I mean, I have flown over this area, but I've never been on the ground. And the snow-capped mountains blew me away. I'm just like, wow, it looked like a painting.
Oh yeah. We when we moved down there, initially, honestly, in a few months, it felt like I was 10 years younger. I
Wow.
don't know why. I don't know why. It's the environment down there. Just
Yeah. Nice. It was freezing here today. For some reason I thought it was going to be, like, a lot of people say, I've always heard people say, oh, the desert can be very cold. And it just never registered. When I think desert, I think hot. Okay. But I was freezing today here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. We had it. It snowed down there when I was there. I have video footage.
It's pretty wild. Pretty wild.
So
I
did
must
it
go
warm up
now.
during the day?
So goodbye.
Om,
Hi,
thank you.
Om.
Om from
Bye, Om.
Thailand.
Good night, brother.
Thank you
Or
for
have
joining.
a good day.
Bye,
Hola.
He's from
So
Thailand.
George,
Yes,
George,
sir.
was it hot? Did it heat warm up there in Vegas as the day went on?
It got a little bit warm. It's funny because I'm looking down at the pool behind me here. I got the mountains in the background, and I'm looking at the pool, and there were people out there, like all around there's like 5 or 6 pools, and I'm like, are these people crazy? I mean, it was chilly, but apparently for some, I don't know if they were from much further north, and they're like, damn it, I'm going to get some sun if it kills me.
Must be Canadian.
Could be. I had to.
It's like
I
when
actually. I had to get under the covers for like an hour just to warm up. It was weird.
It was like in Scotland, they had some of the most beautiful beaches I'd ever seen, but I'd never seen a polar tech bikini before.
Right.
Oh my God, it was cold.
Oh yeah.
So, but it is what it is, I guess. You get used to it. We'd go running in the morning and on a Sunday morning after a hard-hitting Saturday night and go take a dip in the ocean, and that'd bring you around pretty quick.
Yeah, that's your cup of coffee right there.
Oh, water's about 38 year-round.
Oof.
But it's absolutely crystal blue. It's beautiful. It looks like you're in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
Till you stick your toe in the water, and then it's like, no.
Wow.
But today in Austin, it got up to about 80 something. So,
Wow.
crystal, nice,
That sounds good.
Yeah, it is good.
Does it get very humid in Austin?
Right now, it's not very humid. It's pretty low, but we got a little storm front pushing in, and so it'll pick up in the next day or two. We get those southerly breezes off the Gulf, and that'll kick the humidity up.
Because I have a friend that lives in Houston, and she says that the humidity year round is unbearable.
Oh, why anybody chose to settle in Houston? It's on a swamp. It has gators, snakes,
Really?
humid, hurricanes. Oh,
they have Joel Osteen.
Yeah, and mosquitoes big enough to carry chickens off, and it's like, oh, hey, let's settle here. And of course, Texas A&M isn't that far away. That could have a lot to do with it. But
yeah, right.
Well, people settle in strange places all the time. So I go to the Bronx a lot, and I can't believe people live there myself. You know. So I mean, the Bronx is awful.
Yeah, but you don't
You
have to
know-
I
worry
was just
about
checking the.
Sorry.
what.
Well, the rats are pretty big in the Bronx. So I mean, the only thing good about the Bronx is Yankee Stadium to me. So
I was just gonna say I was just checking the weather in Vegas. Yeah, that's pool weather for us Canadians.
Is it?
Yeah. 60, 63. I think it's 63 right now. Yeah. We're jumping in.
Wow.
I'll jump up and say, I remember when I lived down there, I would actually sit. This sounds very, very bougie. I would sit by the pool before I'd go to work, and then go to work and come home and make dinner and all those other things. But it was like, and I remember just looking up from my lunch or my easy chair out there by the pool, thinking, I'm living in a vacation. It's gorgeous down
Yeah.
I wonder
I
though,
haven't.
to live in Vegas versus to go vacation in Vegas, what's the big
I
difference?
I wouldn't live in Vegas. I lived in Henderson, which is like 20 minutes. Vegas, they're down in the heart of Vegas. It's kind of, I don't know, a lot of visitors, and it's a little lesser of an environment, if I could put it that way. But where I lived, I used to say to people, they'd say, never heard of Henderson. It's like, well, where all the teachers and policemen and real people lived, grocery
Yeah.
people. Yeah. So that's where I lived. I don't know how hard it would be to live in Vegas. That sounds a little.
You know, some vacation places don't make good places to live. You know.
That's true.
And
That's true.
I've
Hey,
had
Austin Ozark, speak up, my brother. How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Where are you at now?
I'm out of Kentucky.
Beautiful. How's the weather in Kentucky?
Absolutely terrible.
Is it?
You got two forms. You got extremely hot and humid, or you got cold and rain. So you choose your bad days.
You know, when I think of Kentucky, I don't think of cold.
Yeah, most people think of farmers, cattle, and rednecks.
Exactly.
I don't fit in any of them categories except maybe redneck. But then again, I'm a CCA, so that don't work out too well.
What's CCA? What's that?
That's a customer care agent. It means I work from
Oh,
home
okay.
for multiple, like Apple, stuff like that.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. So is that what you did all day today, Austin?
That and work on a hunk of junk of a car.
Oh, okay. What kind of car?
It's a 03 Yukon.
Okay.
Put enough duct tape and zip ties in it, it'll run for a long time.
Southern engineering.
Oh yeah, you got to do some redneck work, keep it running.
Hit it with a hammer, wrap it in duct tape.
Yep, you don't get it to start, you get you one of them mallets, you get underneath it and you hit that starter. If it don't work that time, you throw it in the dump.
Oh, you got to go to a bigger hammer, then throw it in the dump.
We got a 10-pound sledge over there. I'm fixing to bust a
Oh,
tire.
okay. You got a master. You have a master key. I got you.
The master key, right? It's a good
George,
one.
what are you doing in Vegas?
There's a rendezvous of YouTubers, and we're all meeting. They're all flying in tonight. I got here this afternoon, and they are all going to be here. They're probably all flying in right now, as a matter of fact. And a lot of these guys don't realize that I go to bed at 8 o'clock. So they're going to be partying all night and still get up in the morning. And, but I am going to be hitting the sack soon. But we're here for the weekend.
Cool.
Whole bunch of YouTubers. So
you and Joe Biden have about the same bedtime schedule, I bet.
yeah, exactly.
Except
Exactly.
he gets a hot cup of milk first.
Yeah. Well, except I don't have anyone putting me to bed. So
I doubt he does it. Well, never mind. But he wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Does he even know he's president?
Hard to walk upstairs.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Poor guy. I feel bad for him.
Someone said, "Did you see the press conference?" And I said, "No, I didn't. I heard it wasn't really. I heard it wasn't really good." So,
what a surprise!
Yeah, and then there was just one meme after another all day on social media about it. So that tells me it probably wasn't too good.
Well, if George will tell you, I'm sort of a political beast of sorts. And it's scary to me because that's on the world stage. And countries that don't like us are watching this. And they're watching with a great deal of interest. And in fact, the Russians just surfaced 2 of their nuclear subs in Antarctica to do war games.
Really?
Broke them through the ice this afternoon. Massive operation. And of course, North Korea fired off a few missiles toward Japan in a test. It's funny how all that just started.
Right on schedule, right?
Mm-hmm. And we got the little roadblock in the Suez Canal. That's going to cost us an arm and that's going to cost us an arm and a leg. Oil has already jumped 6% in the last 3 days.
Well, I know I filled the truck up gas, and usually it's $50 to fill up my tank. Now it's about $61 to fill up the tank. So.
Gas has gone up about 75 cents here in Austin, which is stupid. I'm in Texas, for God's sakes. I can sit on the beach and get tar balls on my feet and watch the oil rig flare stacks at night. Give me a break.
Right. Right.
But anyway.
That's what 81 million fake votes will do for you.
Oh, man. This is crazy. George, we've been around. Well, some of us here have been around for a while. George and I have been around for a while. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I've never seen this. Even during the 60s, as radical and bad as the 60s were, it wasn't like this. As divisive as the country was, it wasn't like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember the country being divided like this. I don't think social media helps.
No, not at all.
No, not many
never knew
people
America
think anymore on their own.
I never knew America had so many epidemiologists. I'm amazed.
Isn't that the truth? Oh my God. Everybody's an expert on something, right?
Mm-hmm. So
their years alive and time studied never matches. They're an expert at 50 different things because of a quick Google search.
Yeah. Got a PhD in Google.
I call it Google the Oracle, like the Oracle of Delphi.
Yeah, right.
You got to climb up the mountain, get hit with some kind of like hallucinogenic gases or DMT, and then, it'll come to you from Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Website.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Hey
This is
George, I
like
got
late
kind of an
night talk radio.
off-topic question.
Go ahead, Austin. What?
When did you become the George Bruno you are now compared to the George Bruno who was a divorced man? Because I kind of watched your channel grow over the few years. You really changed from George Bruno, the divorced man, to more of George Bruno, the intellectual man. When was that switching point?
Well, actually, the divorce guy could only talk about divorce for about the first 5 years after he got divorced. And that was about 20 years ago. And when I started being able to make some sense out of it and encapsulate the experience, and I think everyone has to take their story and be able to tell it in a couple minutes or less. You know, there's a thing where, you know, you might say to somebody, you know, you meet somebody and you say, hey, what's your story? And if they go on for an hour, you know, you start zoning out. But if they can tell it to you, and now I was that guy. I was like the guy that would take an hour to tell my story. Now I can tell my story in about a minute. And the older you get, and the more you contemplate your past experiences, good and bad, the quicker you kind of compress your story. And I think what happens is, I think it has to do with resolution, internal resolution, something inside of you. And I think when people tell their story just spontaneously. Now, if I ask someone to tell your story, tell me the whole story, then I ask them and they're telling me and I'm listening to them. But just in casual conversation, if you say to somebody, yeah, so what's your deal? What's your story? And then they talk for an hour, that means they still have something that they have to work out. And I think what happened was I saw so many people here on YouTube that had stories, unresolved issues, that I started sharing my personal stuff and showing how people can overcome it and like be normal again. Because when you go through any kind of crisis, whether it be a death or a divorce or house burns down or a tornado hits, you got to talk about it in a way that doesn't involve your emotions. And I think time does that. After a while, you can tell your story in a minute or two, and it just shows resolution. Shows resolution. So I reflect back on my experience, and I think that's what the new George is what you're seeing, is the guy that can reflect back on the experience to help others. Because the biggest temptation when you're going through issues is, and I've said this before, there's two things. Number one, you believe you're the only one going through it. And number two, you think it'll never end. Yeah. And both of those are false. Because you can feel super isolated, you know. I mean, I talk to a camera every day in the morning, every single day. It's weird. And on the other end of that camera are a lot of people watching or listening. And I really wouldn't know if I'm doing any good if I didn't have any feedback. It would be, why am I doing this? But over the years, it's proven that I can help a lot of people. Now, of course, as a therapist, I help one person at a time. Yesterday, I worked with a whole bunch of guys, one right after another. I think it was like 4 or 5 guys. But when I talk to the camera, I'm talking to a few thousand people. And I'm finding that those that don't want to do the one-to-one stuff will benefit from the larger life lessons. And that's kind of like the pivot that I made. I never viewed social media as a means of helping people. It was always like most of us use social media almost as there's two types of people on social media. There's the exhibitionist and then there's the voyeur, you know. And I think we go from one mode to another many times. And sometimes I look at people on YouTube and I go, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. Or, you know, they tell about, you know, they're flailing, they're bleeding in public. And I don't like it when people bleed in public. That's the exhibition. Yeah, go ahead.
What's interesting, George, is before social media, I think one of the things that's so good about like what you do is you talk, you tell a story. It's not in 164 words or less.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we can all gather here, the 8 of us, and have a conversation and talk. But before social media, you were a storyteller. When I worked at sea, the guys, part of your worth on a crew was your ability to tell a story. Could you tell a story well? Did you have interesting stories? We had no radio, no wine women or MTV, no cell phones. Okay, so you had to be able to tell a story to entertain ourselves while we're sitting on the deck. Right? And so some guys got good at it, some guys were okay. I happen to be fortunate enough to be with a guy, Rod Butler from Canada, who was a master storyteller and the ninja of the cut. He could just slice you to ribbon. It was an art form to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent 2 years with him as his protege. And I think that's why I became a storyteller. Because in thinking about everything, that's really what I am, as a storyteller.
John, when people tell stories, what you're doing is it's almost like in other people's brains, they're seeing a movie inside their head as you're talking, as you talk about like the oil rigs on the North Sea. People are feeling the cold. They're feeling the silence of being in the depths. You know, when you were initially telling me when you're out there for such a long time, you know, I'm feeling the isolation. As you're talking, that movie is playing inside my head. So I think storytelling is a lost art. A lot of people just like to give facts. They shoot at facts. In the sales world, we always used to say, facts tell, but stories sell.
I think that's right. And I think that's true with our lives as well. And it's a way of exercising your pain. You can bring it out through a story that isn't, you can feel the emotion, but you're not asking that person to jump in the canoe with you.
Right.
You know, and so it's a way of exercising. And as time goes on, your stories change because you forget all the really horrific things, the really boring things, and so you concentrate on the good things, the funny things, the things that teach a little lesson, like don't stick your head out of a moving train. You know,
yeah, right.
Good lesson, right? And you know, don't feed the sharks on Wednesday before you go diving. Good rule.
Right.
Good lesson. good lesson. You don't dive where the cook dumps his food. And so I learned that one the hard way. But, you know, those are all good things. And now it's time for new chapters, new stories, new adventures, which I'm getting ready to unstuck and unstick and move on. And so COVID, the WHO, the EU have all conspired to throw a wrench in my little system.
Yes, they have.
So I am de-wrenching my little system.
Yeah. Well, it definitely shows patience.
Mm.
You're not a quick fix junkie.
I need to pick it up, though. I'm not exactly getting any younger out here, you know. So, I mean, like, you know, I get a call from the funeral home every other week, you know, and it's like, Mr. Hoover, how you doing? Oh, I feel great. Sorry to hear that. You know.
Yeah, right.
Sorry to hear that. Call us when you need us. If you start feeling bad, give us a shout.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I always thought it was weird when like older people started talking about the funeral pre-planning. Like people of a certain age say, yeah, we got our plot over at the cemetery. I'm like I remember like my grandparents had a plot long before they died. And I'm like, I always thought it was odd. Now I think like, you know, that kind of makes sense. Cause like, you don't want survivors, you know, racking their brain, you know, as to what to do with your body once you leave this earth, you know?
That's when it's good to have like your Uncle Tommy Two Fingers take over. You know, they got someplace over outside of Newark they can, you know, kind of get you on the cheap, right? You know, Uncle Tommy, can you come down? Grandma passed away. We got to do something. Yeah, okay. Some Cataloni. Okay, I'm with you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, this is true story. My mother after her divorce, she had a gentleman friend, Ed, who was a very proper gentleman, good man, interesting man. He made me executor to his will. And so he sat down with me and went over it. And he wanted to be cremated and have his ashes scattered in Alpine, Texas by the McDonald's Observatory out there. And I told Ed, and I said, the key word in that statement is observatory. You make sure that's in that document, because if you just say you want your ashes scattered at the McDonald's in Alpine, I'm going to drop you in the playscape and move on, get a Happy Meal, and I'm out of town.
Yeah, right.
And he goes, I knew you were the right man for this job. But, you know, you got to be specific on these things, you know, but that was a true, and he laughed so, and he was such a stoic guy, and he just laughed so hard, you know, and he goes, the playscape. And I'm like, yeah, I know how much you love kids. And he was he was in the OSS. Get this is the difference in ages. He left high school his junior year to go to work for Pan Am Airlines as a radio operator with the Morse code on their South American flights. Okay. The war breaks out. He joins the 82nd Airborne as a glider trooper, as a radio operator, lands in Normandy in the gliders, does this thing, gets recruited by the OSS toward the end of the war to go behind enemy lines and set up on the Luftwaffe POW camps to keep an eye on them, because they were worried that the Germans would use our pilots as a bargaining chip at the end of the war for favorable negotiation. So he sat up out there, won a Silver Star for that little deal. Never told anyone.
Interesting.
Then he went to work for the CIA as a pilot. and flew the South American route for CIA for a long time. Taught himself CAD at 72 because he did electronic to computer components for electronic signs.
Mm-hmm.
He lived in a little studio apartment, got up in the morning, put on a suit and tie, stepped across the room, sat down at his computer, and went to work.
Mm. Wow.
Suit and tie. And I asked him, why is suit and tie? And he goes, because I'm in the office.
Well, there's
Well,
something
I
to
learned
be
a
said.
lot from him,
There's something to be said about that. That's a different mindset, It's like with so many people that work at home now, remotely. I was listening to Lindy. Many of you know who Lindy is, Lindy Sellers. And she talks about, she calls it getting dressed down to your shoes. Those are her exact words. Even if you have nowhere to go. And I was thinking about the people who work remotely, especially, and I don't know how, there's people that do customer service work from home, and of course that increased as a result of COVID. A lot of people working from home. Do they get up, take a shower, shave, do their hair, do their face, get dressed, or are they there in their pajamas at their kitchen table? That's what I'd like to know. Do people dress like they're going to work? Like, I have to do that. I mean, when I do the Daybreak show, I'm still like either in sweats or like lounge pants or something like that, and just throw on a sweatshirt or something. But as soon as it starts to get a little bit light out, man, I'm in the shower and I'm getting dressed. I wonder how everyone else does that. I mean, are they, you've seen the memes of people like on Zoom meetings, like a guy in a shirt and tie, but he's like in boxer shorts, from the waist below.
He's got his jumbo elephant pajama pants on and his slippers.
Yeah.
Right?
His underoos.
Yeah, I don't speak for all work-at-home agents, but excuse me, we have like 300,000 employed work-at-home agents, mostly based in the U.S. for the company I work for, and most of us dress like we would if we was going in. We don't have a dress code, it is, but still get up, shave, shower. I like to dress normally in a good shirt, which this is the relaxing clothes to wear at the end of the day, but I think it's good to put yourself in the mindset of you're going to work. You're not just sitting at a desk at home volunteering.
Well, Austin, let me ask you this. Is your remote work via video, or is it more like phone work?
It is purely inbound, which inbound means that you would be calling into us, asking us questions of how to fix stuff, order stuff like that. That's what we handle mostly. Video-wise, we do it on a Friday. We'll go video and talk to some of the customers, and sometimes we'll even video talk to like our leaders. Like today, we're going through training again, which along the lines of storytelling, that's actually what they're putting us through training again, because a lot of our sales associates don't do much storytelling when they sell. They do purely by the book, and anybody that does sales knows it's hard to get a sale when you just tell somebody the facts. You have to give them a story of, I used this phone when I was going out on a family vacation. You got to try to make that connection to try to make the sale, and that's what they're trying to teach us. And they brought us on video and had us do face-to-face, and it was new. I'll give you that. Didn't like it much at all, because it's hard to not laugh when you're looking somebody in the eye and you know they're not actually interested.
Yeah.
I've been working from home for the last year, and I'm going to be working from home permanently now. So much like you described, I basically get up. I'm still in my underwear, turning the computer on. I might slip into some shorts and a t-shirt, and that's kind of it. Usually around
Yeah.
11 a.m., I'm thinking I better put some deodorant on. And yeah.
Whether you need it or not.
So yeah, when I went to work, I'd always shower and stuff, but no, I basically just sleep as much as I can, and basically get up 5 minutes before I need to get on the computer and be at work.
Let me ask you this: now, well, you're not doing Zoom meetings, right? You're not like face to face with people, are you?
No, most of our meetings are just voice.
Okay.
Where no one really uses video.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't deal with external customers. It's all internal people I'm working with.
Okay.
For me, it's like transitioning. It's like going into the locker room and changing before the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to suit up, clean up, be ready, step out on the field, ready to go. And it's that transition period.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting your head in the game. Now, my wife works from home, has done for a year. Her company may or may not go back. I have no idea. But, she gets up, she gets dressed, she's in actual face-to-face meetings with her team, with managers, with the head of the company. She works for a big publishing company and is a director there. And so she's in meetings 6 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Mm. So she has to look like she's going to work.
There is a professional, if you will, I guess a professional standard, and one that she imposes. Maybe I don't know what the overall corporate culture is there. It's pretty relaxed, but she's the Jefe Suprema. She gets in there, and she rallies the troops and marches them on and gets them all her little ducklings in a row and sends them on down the way. And, she does a good job of it. And it's that getting up and getting that transition, I think, that's important. And the discipline to do it, to get up and do it. And I know when I was an investigator at the AG, we had to have the dress code. The policy was you had to be ready to go to court at a moment's notice. So you always kept a jacket, clean shirt, and tie in your office in case you got called to the big house to meet with somebody, or over to meet with a legislator, or actually had to go to court for some reason. And, I remember we had been on observation ops for 24 hours and we got called into the to go to court right away. I mean, like, we were lights and sirens going to court, go into the judge's courtroom and everything. And after court was dismissed, judge walked over to us and he goes, Agent Hoover, I'm in BDUs and everything. And he goes, you dress when you come to my court. And I'm like, sir, you called us in from the field. And he goes, I don't care. You dress when you come into my court.
Yeah, that's interesting, right?
Yeah, I thought he was a prick, but but you really can't say that to the judge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, often. But
Rutger,
what's going on, George?
Nice beard you got there, brother.
Thanks, man. I tightened it up today, actually. As it gets closer to summer, I'm trying to shed a few pounds. I'm going to get my face a little more narrow. I'm going to try to clean shave again. It's been a couple of years.
all haircuts and beards are optical illusions. That's what I like to say.
That's right.
They take your eye off of one thing and lead them to another thing. So everything is an optical illusion. You can have any kind of face you want with a beard, you know?
That is right. That is right. And thanks to you and your videos, I've learned a lot of that.
Oh, good, good. Where do you live, Rucker?
I live in North Alabama.
All right. And what do you do for a living? What'd you do today?
Today, I work for a defense contractor in a place called Huntsville, Alabama. It's a big time hub for the defense and intelligence community. Is places like Boeing, Lockheed, Raytheon are all here.
Yeah.
And I work for one of those. I don't do anything classified, so I can pretty much spout off anything without getting in trouble, or so I think. But I work in the finance department there.
Now, is any of that work virtual? Do you ever get a chance to work remotely, or are you always in an office?
I've been working remotely for over a year now, actually.
All right. So are you in a shirt and tie and then have boxer shorts on?
For at least one meeting, I have done that, and an interview. Yes. You can get away with it. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah.
As long as you don't stand up, right?
Right, right. That's right.
So is most of your work when you work from home? Is it are you number crunching? Are you talking on the phone? Are you doing Zoom type meetings?
It's a mixture of all of the above, really.
Yeah.
Lots of number crunching, lots of moving money around, phone calls especially since I've been teleworking.
Yeah.
I miss seeing people because I'm an extrovert, and
Yeah.
we may go back, we may not. And my department, it's not very critical that we're there. You know, we have people that are getting their hands dirty building computers and rockets and missiles and what have you that simply can't telework. And then there's people like me who are just taking up office space.
Right.
And we're pretty cramped right now, so it makes sense to leave people like me at home when we're just as effective, I will say.
Yeah.
So Rucker, you work in finance. I heard the key I heard was you move large sums of money around.
Yeah, I work in it's a sort of a specialized role. It's a intercompany project accounting. Best way to describe it. So my company has a subsidiary that we own, and then we're also a wholly owned subsidiary of another company. So I specialize in setting up that intercompany work and making sure those projects are funded back and forth.
6 degrees of separation.
Yes, this
plausible deniability.
Right.
Actually, I don't know if you do this. All of us here have a defense company. We make the sanity, clarity, and reason bomb.
We do.
And I think we've just contracted with one of your parent companies under an umbrella. And if I give you my account in Liechtenstein, can I invoice you and you can handle that for us?
Yeah.
We'll do it for free.
Oh, cool. That's even better. The last guy just wanted 25%. I'd like to get it in euros if I can. You know, and just deposit it over there in Liechtenstein. It's all good. And I'll send you a PO and we'll work this out. The sanity, clarity, and reason bomb.
All right, let's sign a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Rucker, are you married with children?
I am. I'm single, no kids.
Okay, so you don't have to go to a certain part of the house for quiet. You can do your work without little kids running around and
That's right. I wake up early, I hit the gym, I come home, and I log on, and away we go. And that's how my day begins. No distractions except for my two adopted cats like to get the zoomies. So
That's great.
yeah, that they're a sight, especially when I'm on speakerphone and they're just going to town.
Little visual joy. It must be hard for people, I think, who have, families who are then forced to work remotely. You know, not every house has a dedicated office. A lot of times that office is like in the corner of a dining room or the bedroom or something. And, you can't really do a full day of work at the kitchen table. Most people can't, so I think we had to kind of rewrite the script of what telework is in the past year.
Right, and a lot of families and households have to accommodate, even if it's just one person teleworking.
Plus the fact a lot of kids are now doing tele-learning, right? A lot of kids are getting, kids are sitting at the dining room table with their laptops being taught. And then if there's one parent that's working remotely, my gosh, that's got to be quite a feat, I guess.
I
The whole
know.
family.
I hate that for kids, man. That's tough. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that situation.
My son's 18. He's doing well. His senior year got gutted in high school because that's when COVID, and after the Christmas break, Austin ISD just shut down. He didn't even have a graduation, really. All the senior activities, all the stuff just went away. He'd been in classes with friends he'd been in with since first grade. A lot of these guys, a lot of his buddies, and they were all looking forward to doing stuff together and doing everything. That all went out the window. And then he's in classes 2 days a week, virtual teleeducation. And so he's missing out on that going to university thing, packing up, throwing the stuff in the car, see ya. The great adventure begins, right?
Yeah, right.
And so he's missing all of that. And so many kids are. And it's an important transition period in my mind to have those things. It's part of our culture. It's part of our shared experience as a society. And they're
Do you
missing
think
out on it.
someday we're going to look back on this and go, you know how grandparents would talk about the Great Depression? Are we someday going to talk about COVID the same way that our grandparents talked about the big war? When they talked about the war, you knew it was World War II or the Great Depression.
I would hope so, but at the same time, I can see how they would keep it going just to kind of keep a controlling grip on everybody. Because as of right now, the way I see it, you have your hardcore left and your extreme right, but you don't really have much of a middle ground of people who are independent. It is you side with me or you side with them. If you're an individual thinker, then you're crazy.
Right.
I think the thing, George, I found after my mother had passed away, I found her high school yearbook from 1942. And in the book, there were messages from all the boys saying, I'm shipping out next month. I want to write to, we're going to go. And they were going off to war. Okay. And that, when you talk about the Great Depression and the war, that was sort of a unified experience.
Okay.
for the country.
I see where you're
Okay.
going. Yes.
And not to make light of COVID, but this was far more serious issues.
Yeah.
And here you have, like, take Texas, for example. The governor says, open up, no masks. Austin says, screw you. We're going to have masks and keep things shut down. We don't care
Yeah.
what the governor says. And they just won another
Right.
court battle with the AG today to keep Austin locked down.
Right.
And you have a Democratic mayor versus a Republican governor. Okay. And that's what Austin was alluding to, is that COVID has been politically weaponized and is being used as a whip, depending on who's yielding it, to smack down other people and keep control. You know, look how they use COVID. Everything that Trump did for COVID, he couldn't, he could have stood out on the street corner handing out vials of vaccine, and it wasn't good enough. And if it wasn't for his efforts, we wouldn't have a vaccine. If it wasn't for his efforts, we wouldn't have shut down our borders and done things. And, and yet now you would think that Biden and Fauci were the great saviors. And Biden had nothing to do with this up until he took the oath of office.
Right.
And so I think COVID it's going to be a black eye, not a unifying event, and the other thing about the depression, and granted, COVID is a pandemic, it is worldwide, but the way it's handled is different. There's not a unifying factor, even on a global level.
Right.
And that's the point I wanted to make. I'm beating a dead horse. Everybody's kind of got this one. So.
I like that you say that. I like that you say the word savior, because the way that I see this whole pandemic has been constructed is it has members of the scientific elite like Fauci who are basically saints. We have our practices like wearing a mask and social distancing. We have our mantras and prayers like flatten the curve and stay home. It sounds to me, and of course it probably sounds the same to you, like a religion. It's become a faith.
Oh yeah, walk into a store without a mask on.
Yeah. It's the modern equivalent.
It makes the Salem witch trials look like a Sunday afternoon barbecue.
That was the exact metaphor I was thinking of, is the Salem witch trials.
I mean,
well, we have two new guys here. Ian, how are you, Ian?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Where are you from? Where are you at right now?
I'm in Daytona Beach right now.
Nice.
Yeehaw.
And what did you do all day today?
Went to my math class and did some school events because my college is doing it's I guess homecoming week or whatever.
Okay. Oh, so you were able to actually go somewhere in person. It's not virtual.
Yes. I get to do things in person.
Wow.
Yeah, I sort of I didn't get my high school graduation in person though. That was on a stupid YouTube video.
Yeah. Oh wow.
But yeah, I do things in person. All my classes are in person.
Well, you're in Florida. That's why.
Yeah. Well, the school has its own mandates or whatnot because parents would throw a fit. So I have to wear a mask everywhere I go on campus. But whenever I'm off campus, I don't wear it.
Right. Right. Chuck.
Oh,
how are you?
Just fine. First time I got on here for once.
Where are you at now, Chuck?
I'm in Kansas.
Wow. We got them all over the country now.
I enjoy
And
your shows.
what'd you do all day today, Chuck?
I just got off work about 50 minutes ago.
Okay. And what do you do for your work?
I work at a plastics company that we make trigger sprayers that I think everybody there uses, like 409 and Windex and Armor All pumps.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I gotcha.
And we're considered an essential workplace, so I haven't been laid off all last year. So
Wow.
that was good.
So there's no such thing as virtual work from you. You can't work remotely from home. You have to be at the plant.
Right. Yeah. Especially in my position, I'm in quality control. So I have to actually physically handle every spray pump and make sure they don't leak or.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's quite a beard you got there.
Thank you. It's about 2 years, I think. Yeah. I learned everything from you.
I used to have a dark beard like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Chuck. Your mother and father, are they gray?
Salt and pepper. Yeah. My dad has he's bald, like a horseshoe shape.
Yeah.
I think I'm taking after him.
Yeah, we usually our graying pattern usually takes after our parents. I know.
Yeah.
My gray hair is very similar to my mother's gray hair.
Right.
And
I noticed a little bit of gray in my chin there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not very many. If I can count them on one hand.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, they will multiply from there. So it'll be interesting to see how that, like, if you, like, you mean your chin or the soul patch area? What do you mean?
My chin. Yeah, chin.
Okay.
Yeah. But I haven't noticed any on my top of my head, though. I'm just losing it up there.
So do you buzz your head or shave your head?
I buzzed it, and 2 weeks ago I had it shaved. And this is 2 weeks for growth.
Do you like it?
I like it, yeah. Especially shaved. Yeah. That's my first.
I used to shave my head, and I remember for about the first 2 days after I shaved it, I couldn't keep my hands off of it.
Exactly. It's a weird feeling.
You're driving in your car, and you're feeling your head. It's like, it's weird.
Right. Exactly. If it's not my head, it's my beard.
Yeah, right. Here's a weird thing. When I had like my huge beard, I used to just stroke my beard. I mean, just nonstop. Didn't matter.
Right.
Where I was, just always yanking on my beard, always. And when the beard's really long, the hair that you grab is really the hair under your chin. Of course, now it's a foot long, whatever.
Right.
And I was yanking on that skin, and then I remember in 2017 when I shaved off the big beard, I had like a turkey neck. I'm like,
what?
Because I was yanking on the skin for like 3 years. Can you imagine just pulling on your skin for 3 years?
Yeah.
So I would put like oil and moisturizer on my neck, the way women do. Women always put moisturizer on their neck and all this stuff. And it went away. It disappeared.
That's weird.
And now I just have like a normal chin and neck. But after 3 years of yanking on my beard,
right,
it was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And women will tell you how to put on your lotion too. You got to go up with it. You don't go down. Go up. Go up. 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 They always say, go up.
Come on, easy.
Like I didn't know that there's a protocol for putting on lotion.
Right. I didn't know that either. I've learned something.
At what
So,
age,
Ian,
George,
what
did
do
you
you?
finally
Oh,
get your first beard when it was actually considered a beard, not just tight knit scruff?
Say that again?
At what age did you get your beard and not just tight knit scruff and peach fuzz?
Probably 25 years old.
Oh, wow. With how much growth you have, I thought it was like probably 15, 16, because you had it like way down. And I
Yeah,
figured it took probably years.
I had a beard as a teenager. It was very patchy and scruffy. I was so proud of it though. My God. Because I was 15 and it made me look like I was 16.
I can remember those days.
Anything to make you look older.
Got to show it off everywhere you go, no matter what you got. Even if you got just the mustache and like one little soul patch, or maybe you got like
Yeah.
just a dot right there, let it just grow all the way out and put it up into a horn.
Comb it over. A beard comb over.
It's snowing here.
Look at that.
yeah, look
Oh
at
my
it.
goodness.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm in Saskatchewan, Canada.
Hmm.
The snow basically all melted, but it's coming back for a few days, I guess.
Wow. That's something.
So, Ian, what are you studying in school?
Majoring in aeronautics, minoring in AMS. Aeronautics, that's just the theory of flight, and AMS is how to maintain a plane.
Okay, you gonna go for your pilots and mechanics?
I was thinking of doing my pilots. To COVID, they limited the amount of pilots they're accepting. But I am planning on going for my FAA mechanic certifications.
What school are you in?
Embry-Riddle.
Oh, yes, of course.
This is interesting, Ian. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said I'm very lucky to be allowed to do half the things I'm doing with what's going on.
Yeah. My uncle was vice president at Braniff Airlines in charge of maintenance. And he started washing airplanes back in the day with Tom Braniff and worked his way up to VP. He then retired working for Associated Air, doing custom jets for Saudi princesses and rock bands and everything like that, and refitting them out and everything.
Yeah,
And,
it's all the special stuff is where the money is.
Oh yeah, this was in Dallas at Love Field where Associated was. And then there's a maintenance base, a big maintenance hub in Florida for the airlines. I can't remember what they offered him a position out there, and but he did real well in the airline industry, and so it's a good field. It's a good field. Are you thinking about doing military at all?
Yeah, that was the original goal, to possibly look into becoming a pilot for Uncle Sam.
Navy or Air Force?
Originally Air Force.
You golf?
No, I don't golf. No, I don't golf.
Oh, then Air Force is not for you then. No.
Yeah,
no.
grandfather.
That's why That's where the Air Force doesn't have any aircraft carriers. They can only put 9 holes on the flight deck.
Right. See, we got a little intergenerational humor here.
Well, even nowadays, the Air Force, they still don't do much. There's so much paperwork you have to do just to go on a training sortie. It's ridiculous. It's why you rarely see the Air Force in any movie. It's Navy or Marine Corps. If it's an Air Force jet, it's CGI.
Oh, wow.
The Navy has better uniforms anyway, so I'd go with the Navy. Plus, you get to travel around more. I don't know. To me, like, I can't imagine taking a jet, coming in and landing on a deck that's pitching 30 feet up and down in the air, and putting that thing down.
That's just insane, the amount of skill that takes.
There's not enough Valium on that ship to keep me calm to do that. I'd be like, oh yeah, here we go. I got it. Yep, okay.
Have you seen the videos of where those cables that are meant to slow them down break? It's horrific.
Yeah. And to see the guys jump over them when they do on the flight deck. Those guys have eyes in the back of their head. They're like cats. I saw one where the arresting cable snapped, went flying across the deck, and the guy just leapt over it like no big deal, kept on going. You know, that thing would have hit him below the neck.
Those things would take
legs off.
Legs clean off, like a knife through butter.
Now, my dad flew for the Navy in the Pacific in World War II. He flew Corsairs and Hellcats. And back then they had wood decks. And those wood decks, and they had the arresting cables, then you had the net across at the end of the cables in case you missed. And he talked about one of his friends toward the end of the war didn't have his shoulder harnesses tightened up, and they have a parabellum gun sight right in the front of the pilot, which corrects their shooting when they're banking and doing everything. And he didn't have it tight, and he hit that, and head went right into it and killed him. You know,
wow,
just right before the end of the war. And then my dad got taken out at Iwo Jima with shrapnel and tore his leg up, and he barely got it down on deck. And then he ended the war flying sub patrol out of Cuba. And they would fly from Cuba to Miami and back, which he said was the best job. They'd fly over, pick up all the booze in Miami, and then fly back to the officers club in Cuba in a van, wherever their base was there, along with the supplies that they were building a pool with. And they'd use the liquor to do the CBs, and they dug the pool out and finished up and made the swimming pool for the officers club. That's kind of how things got done in the Navy, I guess. A little different than I guess it is now, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But
Joe Kittinger, I don't know if that name sounds familiar, but he basically dropped out of a gondola from high altitude to test parachutes, how parachutes would react in high altitude.
Yeah, okay, now it's coming back.
And now you know who I'm talking about. Well, he was also a pilot during Vietnam. And what they do with all the beer cans and beer bottles is they load them up onto the bombers, and they go dump them on some random road up in North Vietnam and come back and call it a day.
That's funny.
Hearts and minds, right?
Yep.
Now, the Pacific equivalent to that, and was occasionally they'd go from aircraft carriers on the land bases. They'd go from fleet over to an island and be off a base on the island. And of course, there's no liquor, right? And so they made a thing called Raisin Jack. And so they'd go get yeast and sugar and raisins from the cooks. And they'd boil and still this stuff out in the jungle and make basically raisin flavored moonshine.
Yeah.
That they also use for aviation. What?
It's like Pruno, prison wine. They just take a bunch of fruits, throw it into a thing, and just let it ferment.
Sort of, but this was cooked up on the fly and could also be used for aviation fuel and paint thinner. And so they were out in the jungle, his unit, and they were pretty toasted on this stuff. And the Japanese blew the ammo dump on the base. And so they all hopped back up in the Jeep and headed to base, right? And they left their commanding officer out in the jungle, perched up against a tree. They forgot about him. And they had to go back and find him the next day. And he was still there. He drank half, and they had to take him to the doctor. And it was bad. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. But that was this, it was a whole different thing. These guys were young, too. I mean, I think my dad was 22, 23, doing all this craziness. But then his brother was a B-17 navigator in England, and they had to relieve themselves, and they'd use condoms to relieve themselves. And of course, at 30,000 feet, it was like minus 40 degrees, so they'd freeze rock solid. And they'd drop them out over Germany. They called them blivet bombs. And they just see some little village down there, and they just whip them out the gun ports, and and everything. It was minus 30 degrees, and they call them blivet bombs. Send one in. History's fun. There's all kinds of cool stuff. You get into it all kinds. Now, did you see Bumgardner, the Red Bull jump from space, the highest skydive in the world?
You talking about the one that was
him up?
There was one that happened actually, a week or two ago, actually.
Oh, I'm thinking of a few years back, and he was up in the stratosphere and fell for like miles and miles, and he's in the space suit and the whole thing, and he crawls out there. And
we talked about this in my aeronautics class on Wednesday. I think he got to like Mach 1.6 or something like that.
Yeah,
which is insane. Just a parachute, a spacesuit going 1.6 times the speed of sound.
Falling through the atmosphere. Yeah, I mean, and he's got a mic on the whole time. They're talking to him and stuff, I think pretty much the whole way down. And he's just like, oh, geez, I'm trying to stay, And then finally it opens up and he comes down. But let me tell you, to me, doing stuff like that, I don't know how anyone has the nerve to do that.
I'm surprised the parachute's rated enough to carry the amount of cojones those guys have on them.
Yeah.
That's right.
God. Be sad if you landed in the water, you'd go straight down. But yeah. No.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to wrap it up for the night. This is a great night of talk radio. This just reminds me of old-fashioned talk radio on an AM radio station. It's almost like talk radio got hijacked by politics. Like all talk radio is all politics now. And it's never about, like, I remember when talk radio had like the farm report, you know, extended weather reports, live remotes from a cornfield, things like that. And I don't know, I love that kind of stuff. It kind of like Garrison Keillor, you know, how Prairie Home Companion would be live on the stage. And it was, you could either be there watching it or you could listen to it. And it was fascinating either way. So, but I think that's kind of like what we do here. We're kind of bringing back old AM talk radio where like anything goes, you know. So, but thanks everyone for showing up tonight.
How's your dog?
Thank you, George. Did you pack any chopsticks?
I did. I did. I'll be having breakfast
K-bar
tomorrow.
chopsticks.
I did. I put them in the
Good night, everyone.
Night, Peg.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks for showing up.
George. It was
Appreciate
great
it,
getting
George.
to come here and talk to everybody. Have a good rest of your evening, and I hope to see you back in Pennsylvania.
All righty. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Talk to you later.